Hello, ladies, gents, and NBs. Welcome to your favorite word soccer podcast. I'm George,
And I'm Kevin.
and we'll be going over the Man City versus Liverpool FA semifinals.
Yeah, so this was supposed to be another tight game, especially after what we saw last weekend with the 2-2 in the Premier League. But Liverpool absolutely dominated the first half. It was very surprising. Although Man City did rotate a lot of their players, they had a tough match midweek against Atletico Madrid in Madrid. 0-0, 1-0 in aggregate. They go through though. They will play Real Madrid. Liverpool, on the other hand, I think they rotated 8 players against Benfica, which they had the luxury to since they were up 2 goals on aggregate. And they also end up going. We could see the rematch in the Champions League final, but for now, we're going to look at the FA Cup semis. We'll start with the Man City lineup. So Stefan replaced Ederson in the net, the U.S. men's national team international. Ake and Zinchenko were in for Walker and Laporte. Fernandinho's in for Rodri in the CDM position. And Grealish came in for De Bruyne. And so, there's a heavy rotation in the City side. Even though it's still a great side, I think they were going to struggle defensively against Liverpool, especially against Salah, against Mane. Those are heavy hitters. And against even Luis Diaz, who, you know, he was a very promising player and he's absolutely hit the ground running. So we'll talk about the Liverpool lineup now.
Sick. So, in the Liverpool lineup, we have Allison in the sticks, Trent on the right as a right back, right wing, Konate and Van Dijk in the middle, and Robertson in the left. And Konate actually replaced Matip from the last encounter of these two teams. Matip, remember, was the player that the ball deflected in during the KDB goal. Definitely not the reason to take him out, but it's good to rotate your players. Then in the midfield, we have Thiago, Fabinho, and Keita. Keita comes in for the slow ass Henderson, so gives a little bit more pace to the team. And then in the front line, we again have Salah and Mane. But as Kevin alluded to, we got rid of Jota, and we're actually playing Lucho Diaz today. Um, putting in putting in Luis Diaz means that Mane actually goes in through the center as opposed to the left wing, and actually throws Diaz to the left. So the team super strong, like Kevin said. They had rotated this team in the weekend, so Liverpool basically putting in their strongest 11. It's a really exciting team to see. And now just going into the timeline, unless you have anything else to add about the lineups.
No, let's take a look at the highlights. And this game just like the last encounter last week. This game started off super quickly, off a corner. Konate being marked by Jesus, but he leaves Jesus's marking really easily. He's a big dude, so he gets up really quickly over Ake and heads it in. I mean, Stefan didn't even die for it, so it was really tough ball to reach for him. He placed it really well, and just like that, Liverpool's already 1-0 up in the game.
Do you think the City do man marking or do they do zone marking? Because Mark putting Jesus against Konate seems like a big mistake. Jesus is like half his size.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, they didn't have, um, I think they had to cover for Van Dyke too. I mean, he's big aerial threat as well, so Fabinho as well. And I think there was just a mismatch there, because
You're right, but in this snapshot, you see Stones just kind of standing by himself, has no one to mark. He's a tall ass man. I think he should have traded with Jesus.
I think they do like a hybrid, no, like half
You're
zonal
probably
and
right.
yeah, something
Yeah,
like
you're probably
that.
right.
But in any case, Jesus just let his man go. I think in general, defensively, you're gonna get punished like that if you leave one of Liverpool's big men to roam freely on a corner like that.
for sure.
All right, on to the next 17th minute.
All right, minute 17. We have this huge mistake from Stefan. I mean, Stefan was definitely jerking off to Ederson's fake kick last weekend, and he tried replicating it tonight. But like all American footballers, he let us down and he fell short. So he led to Mane scoring this silly ass goal. I don't know what Stefan was thinking. I tried giving him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe the sun was in his eyes, but I don't think that's really cutting it when you have a red shirt running at you at full sprint. He tried being cheeky. It didn't work out. Mane, really good on him for pressuring the keeper like that, sliding with a perfect challenge, and the ball just bounces into the net. Horrible mistake from Stefan. Really makes us wonder if he will be starting for the U.S. men's national team coming the World Cup. That's up for debate. Really exciting stuff from Mane.
Yeah,
Anything else from this play?
I think this is a product of like Stefan just doesn't get enough game time. I think he starts the League Cup games, but besides that, I mean, really not much in the league, not much in the Champions League. So, and this is the type of play you see from someone who's just inexperienced, doesn't have the game time, and man, he's making American soccer look bad.
For sure. But I agree with you. He's not match fit, right? Like he's like physically fit, but like match fit, he doesn't have the game time. Like you said, he plays what like once every like 2 months,
Yeah.
and at
Mhm.
that he's been injured. He's been very injury prone this season, so his games have been even more limited. He hasn't even been able to start for the U.S. national team, which I mean that bar is so low, so that's really embarrassing. Um, yeah, hopefully he's able to shake it off. I mean, throughout the remainder of the game, he didn't control the ball at any other point. He just punted it, which understandable. He was like embarrassed and doesn't want another fuck up, but really, really sad to see making such a big mistake if it was my team, but it's not my team, so it's really hilarious. I appreciate it.
For the neutrals, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Liverpool again strike for a third goal. It's a great play. Liverpool kind of had control at the edge of the city box when there's some really quick 1-2 passing here between TAA and Thiago, where eventually Thiago lobs it over quickly um, to Mane, who's open on the right side, and he slices in a volley. You can see here, slices in the volley at Stefan's near post, and I mean it was a great play and just
Definitely an amazing play. I think there should be more credit given to TAA here. Trent really killed it. He started the playoff basically at the half line with a crazy long ball to I think it was Diaz, right?
yes,
Um, and then he comes back into the play, like sprints, like full on sprint, and does like you said an easy 1-2 with Thiago before Thiago passes it off to Mane. Again, the shot was amazing. I I don't know. It might just be me, but Stefan left a little bit to be desired in this play. Maybe he should have covered his post a little bit better. It's his post, right? He didn't even do the far post. I don't know, Kevin. What do you think on that?
I think the problem is there's like no one to cover like his wide or his far post, so he kind of has to like respect Mane. He can finish anywhere. He's amazing. Um, so that's the problem there. And so I mean, sometimes you just choose wrong as a keeper. Like sometimes you go near post because you sense the shot there. Sometimes you stray a little far post, but here take no credit away from the strike. It's amazing, and although Stefan he might be a little far from the near post, I don't think there's much you can do.
That's fair. I mean, again, letting Americans down. It was his time to shine, and he could have done a little bit more. But like you said, Mane is a world class forward and will place it anywhere on the net. So sad day for Stefan. Really a night to forget. But good on Liverpool.
3-0
And
heading into the half, and I mean, we're expecting a response from City. I mean, Pep's probably grilling them in the locker room, so or dressing room. My bad.
yeah, Pep's probably just chugging water bottles right now, being pissed off, ready to hit people. But it's a good start in the second half, minute 47. Grealish with a dressing room goal. It's a quick recovery from Fernandinho, who is really vital to the City team. Gives a long ball to Jesus. You can see here, and then Jesus, for the first time in the game, instead of shooting, actually passes it off, and Grealish is able to be almost one on one. Um, sorry, almost alone in the box, and is able to shoot it at basically the top left corner. Um, which was a really hard shot if you think about it, because you had all these bodies in front of you. Trent was covering Allison in the goal because Allison was out of position, and he was still able to manage hit it up in the upper 90, and really an amazing way to start the game for City. Start the second half for City.
Yeah, I think the ball was kind of, it wasn't clean on the ground. It was bouncing a little, so he had to like slice it a little bit, place it. He had to place it past TAA. Anything more towards the center, and he probably would have blocked it. But it was an incredible finish, and it's just what City needed to try and make a comeback here.
Exactly, exactly. But I mean, you sort of expect finishes like this from a player that cost City 100 million pounds. He hasn't really shown up that much this season, but when you come in hot like that, I think it really shows his class. Ideally, next season he gets more incorporated to the team and is able to have a bigger impact. But with like short spurts of class like this, it's really nice to see Grealish starting to make his own path in the City team.
And I just want to bring up, people have been making a comparison between Grealish and Luis Diaz. Yeah, because Luis Diaz, he's hit the ground running at Liverpool, and he only costs like 35 million pounds, I think. Or whereas compare that to Grealish, that's 3 times his cost. But Diaz has already had an instant impact. Grealish, I mean, he doesn't really start most of the Prem games, and so I mean, I think that's some criticism. The criticism's noteworthy there.
Yeah, no, I get that. Like, I feel like I've seen a bunch of like Grealish's best highlights are when he signed with what was it like Gucci, like his modeling career on the side, bro. So people are roasting him. I mean, he's still a great player. It's also hard to get on a Guardiola side, right? Like Guardiola has the top players in all of football. So that's not to say that Liverpool doesn't. Luis Diaz just came in hot, and that's not really a common thing that happens. That's not to be expected. Luis Diaz is just in another level. So I don't think it's fair to compare someone's first season with someone who's just basically like a star from like the get go in Liverpool. Um, I don't know, but it is crazy that Luis Diaz is coming in so hot. Like he's coming out from a different league into like the biggest team, one of the biggest teams in Europe, and he's making a huge impact. Grealish is already in the Prem before coming to City, so one would have expected him to have a little bit more of an impact. But if you think about it, Grealish's play in his previous club was he was the center of all the balls, right? He held the ball longer. He was a creative mind in that team, so everything ran through him. In City, that's something Guardiola does not want. Um, so he does have to change his play. While Luis Diaz, on the other hand, he's playing the same position that he was playing in. It was Porto, right?
Yes, yes, he came from Porto.
Yeah. So it makes more sense that he had an easier transition than Grealish is having. Um, but both players are really exciting, and I'm hoping to see a lot of them in the next couple seasons.
Yep, hopefully. Now, on to the 70th minute. Man City have a great chance to pull it back to just one goal behind and make this game have a thrilling ending with the last 20 minutes. But Jesus one on one with Allison just can't curl it around Allison's foot, and Allison clips the ball and it goes wide. It's an amazing save because you don't want to be in that scenario where City are just absolutely dominating you. I mean, it's very nervy. You want to maintain that 2 goal lead. So, excellent save, but Jesus needs to do better here. I think he absolutely has to take this chance.
No, you're right. Jesus has to finish that. He is Manchester City's number 9 today, right? He has to finish. He has to put balls like this away in his sleep. Guardiola's probably slapping him right now. That should have been an easy finish. I mean, Allison coming in big with that save. The only, I guess, saving grace for Jesus is Allison and him trained together in Brazil. So Allison has a little bit of knowledge as to what Jesus will probably do. Coming up big with that save, very reminiscent of a futsal goalie. Just jumping in with his legs, taps it out, uh, keeping Liverpool with that 2 goal lead. Really great from that keeper.
All right, on to the 72nd.
In the 72nd minute, Salah disrespecting the nation of Ukraine and leaving Zinchenko face planted on the ground. Um, you know, Salah should have really done better here as well, but he shoots it wide. He has a one-on-one versus Stefan, but Stefan really pulls through for the first time in the game and closes Salah off really nicely, closing the angle. So Salah doesn't have much room to wiggle and shoots it right outside of the actual goal. Uh, this is actually a really bad defending mistake from Zinchenko. He tries to head the ball back to Stefan, but he definitely miscalculates it and leaves the ball so close to Salah, and that creates this entire chance that definitely did not need to happen. I don't know why he tried heading it. Kevin, do you think he could have just tried kicking it out into the corner or into the sideline for a
Yeah,
throw-in?
yeah, I think Zinchenko underestimated how much time he had, how much space he had between Salah and the ball. Like, looking back at the replays, like he definitely could have sent it to the touchline, sent it wide. But I think the pressure got to him. Salah's on your ass. Like it's gonna be tough to make a decision in a split second there. So, and then there's also the mistake where like your keeper and you aren't on the same wavelength. They're not communicating. So it almost went really bad for them.
Exactly. But I don't know, looking at this screen grab, Zinchenko looks like he tried hitting it out, right? Like unless he like fucked up so hard that that ball was not going towards Stefan, right? Because it seems like he's trying to kick it out to, I mean, head it out to the touchline and not to Stefan, or is that just a weird angle right now
Oh
that I'm
no!
looking at?
Oh no! I think the ball's headed towards Stefan because like there's no
Okay,
point.
okay.
There's no reason you would head it back for a corner. He's heading it back like solely to give it to
Oh yeah, so he could
Stefan.
grab it. So he could grab it. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Also, there was that weird play in the game where someone passed it back to Stefan and he picked it up and the ref did not notice. That should have for sure been an indirect. I forgot what
Yeah.
minute that was. That was weird.
Yeah, it was for sure in the second half, but they never touched upon it again. I mean, and VAR can't go back and look at that because it's not a
It's not
penalty. It
pen.
wouldn't be a penalty.
Yeah,
So
but that was just a handball. That was fucking weird.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't really have much more of this other than Salah should have done better, and Sinchenko really letting Ukraine down for a second time this year. You know, they've gone through so much, man.
All right, to the 90th minute. Finally, City get one back, and they're only 1 goal back now. So sets up a nervy injury time in the match. Mahrez on the right side slots it underneath Allison between his legs, and Bernardo Silva's there to put it right past Robertson and Konate.
Damn, bro. Look at them just sliding, ending racism, both fucking up. Could you imagine if if Silva messed that up? That would have been wild. But yeah, I mean, Mahrez coming in as a super sub definitely took out Andy Robertson, who's defending has always been suspect. But that pass was amazing. He fucked up the entire defense, and Silva. Good thing he followed the ball because that almost like went out of the on the back line. So great goal, making Liverpool shake in their boots a little bit for the last 5 minutes, um, making the game exciting again because the game had gone into a lull for most of the second half after Grealish had scored. I don't know if you see anything different there.
Yeah, I mean, you see, we didn't have any highlights really from the 70th to the 90th minute, so there wasn't really any chances, and it got a little bit scrappy. There were a couple of really heavy challenges, like one from Fernandinho. That's the one I remember. So it was kind of Liverpool just trying to hold the lead, and really nothing much happening. So this definitely brought back all the excitement in the game.
Exactly. And then moving on to minute 92, um, City starts getting desperate and they're just bombarding Allison now, right? They're trying to latch themselves back into the game. Now it's a 3-2. Here we have Fernandinho in the box doing a volley. It's just over. Really unfortunate. Then right after that, in minute 93, Mahrez bombing fucking Allison, and again, just not being able to connect into the back of the net. And then I think the biggest and clearest shot was in minute 94. Sterling alone in the box. Not alone, sorry. But like Sterling in the box with a lot of time. And he scuffs the shot. Allison's able to finally get his hands on the ball and holds it. And that really destroyed City's last attempts. Like Allison finally getting in, diving, wasting a little bit of time. And that really took the wind out of City's sails. Um, After this, there was two more occasions, but they were from Liverpool. Minute 94, Salah misses icing the game and shoots it wide again. And 95, Zach Steffen does another mistake and gives the ball off to Bobby Firmino, who then tries to, I guess, like take Steffen on, but Steffen is able to actually get a hand on the ball, and then the game ends. Really exciting last 5 minutes in the extra time, but Liverpool come out on top. I think very deserved, especially through the passage of play. They dominated most of the game. City just came back in the last like 10 minutes, but that was not enough to take them through to tie the game to overtime. Um, yeah, Kevin, any key takeaways?
I mean, Liverpool were just like they're so lethal. Like you know, some of the goals, the first and the third goal, you just didn't really expect them to. Mane's chance, Mane's volley. That's not an easy shot, and so like him putting that away, like is incredible. And a lot of strikers would just sky that or send it wide. So they just taken their chances really well, and that's how they won this game.
No, definitely. And again, like we mentioned it in the beginning, City did rotate a lot for this game, so I don't think they put as much importance as the fans might have liked into it, which is also understandable because they came in from like two heavy clashes this past week, right? Against Atletico and then against Liverpool last weekend. So the players were tired. Um, Unfortunate for the neutral, where you can't really see a more even matchup. Um, but I think Liverpool definitely deserved the win. Um, and there's not too much to it. Who is in the final now? It's going to be
So
Liverpool versus.
so tomorrow's the next semi. It's Chelsea versus Crystal Palace.
Let's go Crystal Palace, baby. Fuck Chelsea.
Yeah, we'll see how
That-
that one turns out because Chelsea just heartbreaking defeat against
Dude,
Real
don't even mention
Madrid.
that. I'll
Benzema,
take
best striker in the world right now.
dude. Oh my God. I feel like whenever I watch Madrid, they always win, and it makes me want to kill myself, dude. I was I was in the airport and I was like, fuck, dude, they're losing 3-0. This is the best day of my life. And then turn it on and fucking Benz comes back. No, it was 3-1 when I was watching it, and then Benz comes back and I was like, I hate Madrid so much, bro. That shit was heartbreaking. And I don't know. But yeah, that final should be fun to watch. Ideally for the neutral, it would be Chelsea Liverpool, but we don't want to break the hearts of the Crystal Palace fans because that would also be awesome if Crystal Palace could actually reach a final. Um,
I
but
think
yeah,
they have the talent to do it. Gallagher, he's their main guy.
let's hope he could do something, and tomorrow should be an interesting game. Anyway, thank you all for watching your favorite Word Soccer podcast. I've been George,
I'm Kevin.
and have a great rest of your week.